Perfect.
Felicia,
What's
welcome
up?
to the Three Guys podcast. How are you today?
Oh, thanks for having me. And the lady.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
That's Barbara, Felicia. And I think you remember my brother Derek, right?
Hard to forget.
You sure about that?
My mother was a victim of that, and she was unable to care for me. So I spent a lot of time in various houses and not knowing when I was going to be picked up, not knowing where I was going to be. It was very, very difficult. My life didn't stabilize until I got the opportunity to really live with my godparents at around the age of 5. And then later at around 8, I got to live with this woman named Louise Pinckney, who is my grandmother, who taught me everything that I needed to learn to be a woman in America. And I mean, if it hadn't been for her, I don't know really where I would be. She was stern, but it was like lady college. And that's how I explain it. I say, everything that I needed to learn how to cook, how to run the house, how to feed the chickens. I learned from Louise, so it was, we were able to eventually get beyond that. And I was able to carry the lessons that I learned from my grandmother up here with me. And while I was caring for my sisters, Jaleesa, Johnny, Jeannie, my step siblings, I took it on as my responsibility. At 14, I got the biggest paper route I could find. And I was up in the projects with my cutoffs on and my, my tank top. So being industrious, like making sure the kids had their shoes for school. They weren't going to miss out on anything. I wasn't going to miss out on anything. Making sure that they never missed a Christmas. That was not going to happen.
Describes why you are the way you are. And I again, kind of going back to my brother, I don't want to keep on going back to the same stuff, but for you, like at that age, to choose that path and just understand that you have it, like, and just seeing it, to get through it. First, you're a woman. Second, you're a Black woman, and you're going through these things. And I think that's to where you are now. Like, congrats, you did it. You know what I mean? Like, and I know along the way, just my relationship with you in terms of like those kind of like parenting, like things, like you were always like 10 years ahead in terms of maturity, you know what I mean? And where a lot of other people are just miles behind. I mean, me, I feel like I'm always like 10 years behind. I'm like, what the hell? Why didn't I figure this out before, And for you to be going through all the stuff that you did to do, like, to where you are now, like, that's, it's a big deal. So
yeah, I mean, it wasn't all easy. I don't want to paint it like it was easy. There was a lot of crying, and boot camp definitely was not easy. And spending 20 years in the military definitely was not easy. My time in Afghanistan was incredibly difficult. And believe it or not, like I am just now working through some of the trauma that I was dealing with as far as Afghanistan is concerned. I believe strongly in therapy and, making sure that we're doing our best work to be the best versions of ourselves. That is crucially important. But what I was doing was, I always thought people like after this wasn't before, after I came back from Afghanistan, I was like, these civilians are slow and this is difficult. Like, this is hard to have a conversation. What are they talking about? That's not even important. It was all about thinking about, like, my brain was still on this sort of life or death thought process. So things weren't interesting. So they call it like this muted response. And a lot of men have had a lot of difficulty with that, but women have difficulty with that as well. And I wanted to make sure that when I brought Lou into the world, that she was not going to have a mother that didn't celebrate like every little hiccup, like everything that she was experiencing, instead of like having this like muted and shut down response to things. So I did a lot of work on myself.